spot.
We decided to get ourselves back in the game again with our podcast.
Probably the craziest story that you're ever going to hear about hockey.
We're going to be coming back to you on a regular basis.
You are listening to Squid and the Ultimate Leafs Fan.
Hello, Canada and hockey fans of the United States and Newfoundland. And an extra big hello to Canadian servicemen overseas.
Welcome, everyone, to the Squid Ultimate Leaf Fan Show. I'm Mike Wilson, the Ultimate Leafs Fan. Joining me, as always, my winger, Ricky Squid Vibes. Squid, how are we keeping? Unmute. Unmute.
I'm trying to.
Don't touch it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, you're good. Leave it. Rick, go. Speak. You're good? No, you're not.
Okay, it's back on.
There you are. No, it's not. No, don't hit the button.
Why?
Okay, good. Okay, you talking? Squid, try it. Don't touch the thing.
Okay.
You're good. Yeah, you're good. You're good. Keep talking.
Yep. No, I'm good.
Okay. Holy cow! You're in Niagara Falls, not Nigeria, Africa. Like, my goodness! Like, what's with this technology? We can't get a hold of you. So, all right. So listen.
Hey.
We got our challenges. We certainly do. Like, this really is an amateur show. You can tell. Poor old Glenn. He gets labeled with us. Now listen. Before we get going here, you played in a very interesting. I couldn't out that night. In Florida, you played in an interesting Legends game the other night. Tell us all about that.
Well, the Shorzy.
Yeah.
The Shorzy crew. It was awesome. It was, we won 5-3. We were up 5-1. They pulled the goalie, so we let them score a couple. And then
yeah. And what happened?
So I don't know.
Oh no, they went to they went to the bottom line. Did you go to the bottom line after with them?
Well,
we're having some bad technical problems today, folks. I don't know what it is.
There we go.
All right, you're back. All right.
No, I didn't go to the bottom. I went to the bottom line. I went underneath the park.
Yeah.
And there was a guy there, and
Yeah. Did we lose you again? We lost you again.
No, we lost you.
Oh, you did. So no, I'm going good. I'm going good. I'm good. I'm back. All right. Well, the bottom line. Let's try.
I went there.
Yeah.
And I got my ticket, went in, parked, and there was a guy that was working down there, and I asked him what time the parking lot closed, and he said, "Well, it's usually closes at midnight." And I said, "Oh, okay. Well, I better," because it was like 25 after 10 by the time I got there.
Yeah.
I said, "Well, I better pay for it and then get out because I don't want to not be able to get down there to get my car." But the game itself was awesome, and they all took off their sweaters and their undershirts and bare from the waist up, and they went back and forth across the rink, and it was pretty funny, actually.
I saw that. That was and a pretty good crowd too, I understand. Yeah, good crowd.
Yeah, the whole whole bottom section was full. So I think they said there was somewhere between 10 and 11,000.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. You guys still pack them in there. Well, speaking of which, that's a good segue for me to let everybody know we're taking our show on the road. Maybe we'll get a better reception than where we're going with this. But next Monday, December the 8th, before the Tampa game, Squid and I'll be at the Bottom Line. And the Bottom Line, for those of you who don't know, is a great sports bar. It's a great stop spot for every Leaf game, game, and even during the regular. A lot of Facebook guys go there, so it's a really good sports. Ian Cowley, the owners, are really generous guys as far as charity events. And so Rick and I are going to do our show live from there Monday. We're going to be there around 3:30 or so. And what we're going to do is we're doing this with try to continue the great work of our friend, former NHLer Mark Curtin, who lost his life to ALS this past summer. We want to make sure the great work continues. Lots of things going on. I'm going to be selling my Beer League book and my Inside the Room book for $20. All proceeds go to ALS. And if you're real nice, I'm sure Squid will sign one of the books for you. Secondly, we've got a guy who's donating some jerseys. They're made right to spec of the Maple Leafs from the 80s. And there's one of Rick there it's signed by Rick. And I'm sure he'll take his picture with you if somebody buys it. And a good portion of the money is going to ALS. You got to come and see these jerseys. They're absolutely beautiful. And people who collect these things will love these. These are done right to spec. There's a Sittler, a Gilmore, a Clark. There's a Bernie Parent. There's a Palmy, Rick. So there's a couple of really good ones. And last but certainly not least, local artist Danny Granger, who's a sports artist. Site. He does some great work. Go to grangerart.com. He's going to paint a painting of Rick and auction it off that night. And all the money will go to ALS. So all these things, maybe besides my book, but all these things will make great Christmas gifts or graduation gifts or something for somebody to give to. But you'll know in your heart you're giving money to ALS and you're helping out a great, great cause. So just all along those lines, please come and join us on Monday. The Bottom Line, right beside the Hockey Hall of Fame. You'll have a great time. You can sit there and watch the game. The food is good, so it's a really good spot. And guys, stop by and see us. So good. Here we are another week later, and a small glimmer of positivity, winning 2 of 3 for Toronto last week. But about an hour, they get another tough test from their bottom dweller, along with them, the current Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers. What gives, man? What gives?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're starting to get healthy again, which is a good thing. But I don't know. It's just, to me, it seems like they're having a little bit of trouble in their own zone, getting the puck out and making, clear passes out of their zone and get on the attack. And they're spending a little bit too much time in their zone.
Yeah. Yeah, look at the other night. They scored 7 goals, and the puck was in their own zone more than it was in the other zone. And they scored 7 and got outshot and gave up 35 shots. It wasn't like they got outshot 20-18 or something. Yeah. So that isn't, that's a big margin to be giving up. That's going to catch up eventually.
Well, on most nights you get outshot that badly, you're gonna lose.
Yeah.
I mean, they were, I wouldn't say lucky, but I guess for lack of a better word, they were lucky that being outshot that badly and spending that much time in their own zone that they were able to score 7 goals.
Well, the summation this year can be used. One word that everybody's got a comment, all the internet readers and comments and the media is all over these guys and they're giving it to them pretty good. But I think the word "but" can be added to every adjective used to describe the Maple Leaf play this year so far. Like as an example, the goaltending has struggled until recently, but they got blindsided with the role situation in training camp and then Stoller's getting hurt. The D looks a little slow, can't move the puck very quickly out of their end, but they've been hit hard by injuries and lack of depth on the back end has shown up. The forwards, the same thing. They don't look like they can sustain any pressure in the offensive zone, but they have not played with the full lineup since the beginning. Well, it's all 25 games. They have not played with the full lineup. Somebody's been out every game. Yeah. The Chief, it seems like he's changing the lines on the fly every shift, but he's only got the players he can deal with, and he's doing his best to shake it up. And it's a tough thing to go at them, but you know what? They got to suck it up. And you went through this when you were back playing in the 80s, and you guys had thin lineups, and you guys were life and death to make the playoffs at times. So what's going through the players' minds through all of this?
Well, I'm sure they're probably pretty frustrated. I would imagine by now, and here we go. But
Exactly. Yeah.
they have to realize that it's just a matter of each individual going out and doing his job on every given night. And if they get that out of everybody, then they'll be fine. But as you said when we were talking earlier, how many points they need are going to need possibly to make the playoffs, that's going to be a little difficult.
Well, just for those, and I'm sure a lot of fans are aware what's going on, but last couple of years, it's been between 95 and 97 points. 97 points to make the playoffs. The Leafs have 25 points in 25 games. They have 57 games remaining. Well, I know I grew up in Scarborough and wasn't the smartest thing in 2 feet, but that means you need 72 points to get the 97. Well, that's 36 wins. That means they need to go 36 and 21 just to get to last year's playoff date. So
yeah,
that's 15 games over 500. So I'm showing off my math skills here. But anyway, that's a pretty tall task to ask for this group right now, the way they look.
Absolutely. There's no question that asking them to do that, and not to mention there's 3 weeks off in February for the Olympics.
Yeah.
So, I mean, a lot of them are probably going to be going home for a week or so and then coming back and start practicing probably a week before they start playing again, I would think. And, who knows what's going to happen during those couple of weeks that they're gone.
Well, I mean, as you and I text each other a lot of times about during games and stuff, like one of the things the one thing that's saving them is the fact that all the other teams, nobody's running away with the division. Everybody's winning a few, losing a few. Like, everybody's keeping it close. So, like a 3 or 4 team winning streak, you're right back in it.
Yeah, but they are 6 points out of a playoff spot right now.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, that's a tough task, and they've played a lot of home games so far. So, and if you look at their road record, it's not very good. I think it's 3-7-1 or something.
Yeah, they're going to get.
And so, they're going to have to start playing better on the road because they're going to have a lot of road games in the second half.
Well, they don't get any tougher than tonight in their old nemesis. They're playing them, and you know who's going to be front and center in her face, stirring it up. So, come prepared tonight for you guys that haven't been there before. Like, I'm talking about some of the new Leafs wearing that blue and white. You're in for a treat. So come prepared. That's all I can say. But, the thing about this is that we have to look at it at some point. Somebody's got to take some ownership of what has gone on in this predicament they're in. We've talked about it ad nauseum about no draft picks. Now, the one thing, here's the situation for you. Let me just throw this at you. They've got a top 5 protect this year for their pick to Boston. They don't have any assets to trade unless they're going to move Knees or Cowan, which would be crazy. Nylander is a no trade. Matthews is a no trade. If you move one of those two, that's your other option. But good luck with that. But maybe that's what it's down to. So if they get in the position where it looks like it's going to be a bit of a struggle, sit pat with what they have and exercise that top 5 pick this year, and take a run at it next year in off season, because there's a lot of free agents, a lot of unrestricted free agents. They're going to have a little bit of money to spend. I just don't see any moves that can be taking place here that are going to really instill anything into this lineup, unless somebody like Nylander agreed to move. And why would he do that?
Yeah, but I just don't see them really doing a whole lot, even before the deadline. Like you say, they don't really have anything to move, and they don't have any draft picks to move. And it'd be silly if they moved draft picks, because they've moved so many over the years that they don't really have any valuable ones. And then, so I think it's up to the players to go out and do their job and get the job done.
You're about. Hey, listen. Just to repeat what we said: 41 picks they've given up since Austin Matthews arrived, including 7 first-round picks. That's in less than 10 years.
Yeah, that's a lot of draft picks, and especially 7 first-rounders. Like
7.
Yeah,
you know.
And then of course they have Boston's first-round pick this year, but
well, if it's top 5%.
Boston's having a good year though, so.
Well, the thing is, and and everybody's now calling Craig Berube in trouble with his job, but you've been through this before. I mean, God, you guys in 4 years went through 9 coaches. Was it 9 coaches in 5 years or 6 years in the 80s?
Well, we went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in 7 years.
6 and 7. That including Dick Duff in there?
No, that's not including him.
There's Dick Duff in there. George Armstrong in there.
No, that was well, the first one when I got there was God, I can't remember his name, but
Floyd Smith.
He's the one that got in the accident. Floyd Smith,
yeah.
Then Joe Crozier, Mike Nicolak,
yeah,
John Brophy, Dan Maloney, and that was it. So 5 coaches in 5 years, and then I mean but you know what? I mean it's that type of game, and
let's stop right there. Stop right there. So you had 5 coaches in 5 years, or whatever the number was. How much impact did the new guy bring to the room? And you guys are sitting there, and it's almost been proven that there's an immediate bump when a new guy comes in, but over time he's still stuck with the same problems.
Well, exactly, and there really wasn't a whole lot of bumps when they changed coaches back then. I mean, it was. Everything kind of stayed the same. It wasn't much different, and that goes to the general manager, because like Harold Ballard would not pay for a good general manager, and we never really had a real good one that could make that move at the deadline to put us over the hump and going into the playoffs.
Well, you remember the big one back then was that, I mean, the Tom Curvers trade, which turned into Scott Niedermayer, which would have been, that I mean, the wishful thinking, it's great in hindsight, but that was the Eric Lindros year. I remember he wouldn't go to Quebec, so maybe there was thought that maybe that, I mean, who knows? That's just crazy thinking. But the other one was when they gave up 2 first-round picks, Errol Thompson, who was part of that Thompson, McDonald, and Sittler line that became so famous, and another pick for Dan Maloney, whose nickname is Snowshoes. So,
yeah, well.
So
and he played on a line with Billy Derlego and I.
Yeah, oh God Almighty! There's not a chance he could keep up with you two. But the thing is that
the funny thing when he became our coach, and we'd have bag skates, and he would make us go a little extra, and I would go up to him and say, Dan, like okay, you played with us. And now you're making us do this? Like, why?
Why you couldn't be playing favorites, remember? And there's a couple of but I mean the whole issue of this is that this is not a new problem. This has been going on for some time. Like this is part of the Leafs DNA going way back. And I don't know whether it's the pressure of the city, the media, the immediacy to win right now. So they think this is the one that gets them over the hump, where other teams seem to be a little bit more patient, but here it just seems to be it's life and death every moment.
Yeah, it's well, that's Toronto for you. I mean, that's just the way it is here. And of course, when I played, there was no TSN, no Sportsnet, none of those type of channels, and now there is. So there's a lot more going on those entities now, and I mean, at least back then there was just the newspapers, and nothing was online or anything like that. So, but I did read the papers every morning. So there was a lot of people that had things to say. And, but at the end of the day, it was all about just going out and doing your job.
Well, the thing about it is too that you have to look at is that really, if you bring a coach in or something like that, the other thing about a new coach coming in, a new voice, is the fact that what about those guys that are just been pulled up, just got a little bit of ice time, the coach has gained a little trust, and now a new guy came in, you got to redo it all again. So it can be a little disruptive from that standpoint too. And I'm sure you went through that as a captain. We'd have guys going, "Oh God, I just got playing."
Mm-hmm.
And now he's coming in, and I know he doesn't like my game already, and he's not going to go with me. So I mean, all these things are saying around the team. You got the outside pressures coming in, and then the coach is going to be under pressure, obviously, from the media and everybody else. And as you said, all the social media stuff. So it really does become a bit of a circus. And again, we have to come back to well, I'm going to ask you this. What's the immediate need for this team right now? If you're Brad Treliving, what's the biggest move you'd have to make to turn this team around?
Well, I think one of the things they did was they brought in some guys, Joshua, Roy, or Wah, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
To bring a little bit more toughness and, hitting and that sort of thing. And they're not doing it. They're not doing what they were expected to do when they were brought in here. So again, I can't repeat this enough that it's up to the players.
Yeah.
Coach can only say and do so many things. Players have to go out and do the job.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right. Listen, how many times have we had this on this show? We've had coaches come on and when we've done our podcast and tell us. Remember, again, I'm going to repeat this for those of you who heard it. But I just think it's so critical, and every Maple Leaf should listen to this. Listen, 75% of your talent gets you to the National Hockey League. The other 25% is you finding a way to stay and separate yourself from the pack. And if you're a goal scorer and the goals aren't going in, run somebody. That means fighting somebody, being first on the puck, last off the ice of practice, first on the ice of practice, whatever it takes to separate yourself from the pack and to do something a little different. Go to the net harder, something. But that's up to you.
Yeah,
and that's intangibles that separate the good from the great.
Well, I mean, you're absolutely right, 100%. And, there was times that I went 5-6 games without scoring a goal. But I did go to the front of the net. I went in the corner. I did what I needed to do in order to, help the team win. And if he's going in and taking someone out and standing in front of the net and on the power play, whatever the case might be, then that's, I did it. And it wasn't always fun, but at the end of the day, you got to do what you got to do in order to get things done.
Well, not to pump your tires too much, but I did read a book just currently on the Leafs in the 80s. And one of the things about you that Mike Nicklock didn't want was you're fighting too much. And like you were their number one goal scorer on the hockey club and you're fighting too much. And he's saying, you got some other guys have to step up and do this. And then Bob McGill got more ice time and he took the role. And, you were trying to do something when you're going a little bit of a slump, even though you got 50 in 3 years in a row. But when things weren't going right for you, you did something different. You went and ran somebody or did something. And that's the difference. And the players, they got to get that in their heads. Well, look, talk about the time when you went to, this isn't supposed to be the Rick Vibe show, but when you went down to see the Leafs after Austin broke your record, and they took you into keep right into practice, and they showed the film clip of you, and the players were amazed at how much fighting and scoring you could do, and what was going on in that era.
Well, that was just the way the game was back then, too, Mike. You got to remember it was a lot different than it is now. And if you ran someone over, somebody was coming to fight you. And I don't think that's necessary. You throw a good hit today and someone comes after you, I don't think it's necessary that you have to, take that challenge. But back then, if you didn't, then you were going to take some heat.
So what would be your first thing you would address? Okay, the D or forward? Where do you think is more pressing right now? If they were allowed, if that player came along, I don't know how they're going to do it, but if it did, who's the player? What position would you address first?
Probably the D.
Yeah.
They need a little bit more mobility, a little bit more guys that can move the puck and that sort of thing. And they're really not getting a lot of that right now, unfortunately. And, having Caniff out really helps on the back end because, he's really good in his own zone and blocks a lot of shots. But as we said, the reason he leads the league every year in block shots because they're in their zone too much. And
yeah.
So I think, one or two younger, good puck moving defensemen would be what I would be looking at.
Yep, I agree. That I would go for the D first because that's what's going to win it down the road, and you just got to hope that at some point the guys up front just start picking up a little more. That Waugh gets a little bit more comfortable. Then Lawton gets more into his role when he gets more playing time. He keeps running in these little bumps, and Matthews gets back on track again. And they get him a right winger that can stick with them, but. It's one of these guys, but somebody's got to step up and take charges. Right to your point. So
maybe I gotta go back and play, Mike.
Well, I don't know if they can make those sticks
with Matthews.
I don't know if they can make those sticks anymore. They weigh like 30 pounds each.
That's all right. I can use the other ones just as well. And with Matthews feeding me the puck, I think I'd be okay. But then again, I got 3 compressed discs in my neck and 2 in my back, so I don't think that'd be a good thing for me to do.
Yeah, it's probably not a good. Yeah, you're right where you belong now. They'll go take an undershoresy guys and run somebody there. Well, Squid, I know. I guess I guess we got to say things aren't looking particularly rosy, even coming off scoring 7 goals. But it was nice to see that secondary scoring. But it just has that hollow feeling to it overall. Even though they won 17, that okay, that's one of those games. Everything went wet. So. Leaf land is still a little bit down, but you have to stay positive, guys. And as we said earlier, a 3-4 game winning streak can turn this thing around very quickly. So today's quote is going to be.
They're gonna have to win 3 or 4 in a row because they're 6 points out of a playoff spot. Never mind the division, but they're 6 points out of a wild card.
I know.
So a 3 or 4 game winning streak would go a long way.
Yeah, I know. I think, there's somebody just says, Vibrant Berube in the lineup would help this roster out a lot. And I couldn't agree more. That's exactly what we're missing. So, well, Squid, so today's quote is going to be centered around trying to keep it positive, even though things are looking a bit rosy. And I just want to get you in the right mood again, but here we go. You ready? You're always ready.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got to think about this one a little bit, but sometimes it takes a wrong turn to get you to the right place.
I like that.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, it's funny, but that is so true. Like if you're not a guy that gets in there and hits defensemen and knocks them off the puck, make a different turn, like you said, the wrong turn, which you normally wouldn't make, take the guy off the puck, and then good things are going to happen.
Well, again, we come back to last year when Florida goes into the playoffs. Those video clips you see of Paul Maurice screaming at the bench to keep pounding them because of nothing left in the third period. And then you get guys like Carter Verhaeghe. I mean, he wouldn't bump a guy in a buffet line during the regular season. And yet there he is running every player in sight in the playoffs, doing something different. That's the mindset that this team has to adopt. And they've got to learn from that and take that.
Yeah, they have to do things differently than they're doing right now. And that means it's not always fun, but get in and lay the body on their D and knock them off pucks and wear them out. Because that's what teams are doing to our D. So, we got to do the same thing.
I couldn't agree more. Well, we will certainly watch with interest for the next week or so. Remember to check out our library of podcasts. at Squid and the Ultimate Leaf Fan. They have no shelf life, and they're available on most of your podcast networks. What we did one last week, I did this one because Rick was busy earning a living doing something else, playing hockey. And we did one with Ken Reed and Brian Aaronworth. And what we tried to establish was the effect of Mitch Marner moving to Las Vegas. What impact would it have on not only his memorabilia, but the memorabilia in general? When you see a big star move and people have spent all this money and they're buying all these things, what is the impact on the cards, the images, the sticks, game used equipment, all that? And these two guys are both experts in the field, and they gave a very good interview. So those two guys, it's worth having a watch. Have a look at that. It's on our YouTube page now. And just a reminder, but next Monday at the Bottom Line, come and join us. We'll be there after 3:30. Come by, have a drink, have a pop, watch some of the game, have some great food, and come over and say hi to us, and we'll have a great time. And in the meantime, hope we'll have a couple Leaf wins to talk about. Thanks, guys, for listening.
Yeah, let's hope.
Let's hope.